This is Kat Sturtz from rockingyourpath.com with our second speaker today, Cindy Rushton, who's calling in all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. And I can speak Southern if I want to, because my grandparents, my daddy were born in Kentucky. And I used to always call my grandma
You
when
got
we had a Southern role to play and just talk to her for a few minutes, and the drawl came back. Anyway, she's a beautiful business and dear friend now, getting to be so close because we're in several kind of mastermind program groups at the moment. We just are finishing up a Stretch Yourself challenge where we have stretched ourselves to the limits of our businesses and are just delighted to have that insight, growth, those networking connections we've made. Anyway, Cindy is here because this is part of our How I Make Working from Home Work from Me. And Cindy also is a home-based business person, and she's going to be sharing her secrets to productivity. Another thing Cindy and I have in common is we wear a lot of hats previously and in our current businesses. Coaching, speaking, writing, editing, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about that, and I'm going to turn the spotlight over to her.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I could not be any happier to be here with you. Kat has become not just a friend. I'm excited to see what we do through the years because I think we have literally just started. But also, she inspires me. So the fact of how I can make working from home work for me, that's a topic that I have to say, I need it as well as I've been having to live it. So, I mean, I love that this is where we are. When I saw the topic, I was like, this is so perfect, you know. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about me and then jump in, because I think you'll see that this is so important for me to do the things that I need to do because, yes, I am a writer. I've written almost 150 books. And then I also am a speaker. My dad always said, I can't believe they pay you to run your mouth. And so, but yes, I'm paid to run my mouth. And so I say my only claim to fame is that I am right here among you. And that's my heartbeat. My heart, that I say that probably also my being a cheerleader didn't stop in high school. It actually is part of, I mean, I want to see you guys go for it and step up to your calling and live your life purpose. And so that's why I speak, write. I have 2 podcasts that are being revitalized right now. My Stretch Yourself challenge was actually getting me back going after 6 years of a hiatus. But now 30 years before that was where most of my productivity in business, it was in the midst of homeschooling. It was in the midst of being a mom, a wife. It was in the midst of being on the road all but 4 weeks a year. And so writing all those books happened then. Teaching thousands and thousands of workshops and podcasts and writing and blogging, all of those things happen in the midst of life. And today, rebuilding the business, launching back in, being productive today means a whole new thing because I'm getting my master's degree. I work full-time for an amazing website SEO company. I'm busy in ministry. You've got lots of things that I'm doing right now. I'm actually engaged to get married. So, I've got a lot of things going just like many of you. So this topic is a sweet spot for me because without what I call ultimate productivity, I think we get stuck and we get in this place where we feel like that what we're doing really doesn't matter. And then that gets us in this little downward spiral. So the way that I've made working from home work for me is I have lived and died. Well, not died, but you know what I mean. Lived and died by some things that I think make a difference. They've made a difference through the years. So I know they've worked with being a mommy. They've worked being a wife. They've worked being on the road with the ministry. They have worked now switching and doing ministry and business as a side hustle and working full time. In fact, talking about Nashville, I've just recently this past year got shifted back to working from home. And for 5 of those years, I was literally in the rat race commuting, leaving 5 minutes. 5 minutes could make a difference as to whether I got to work on time, like 35 minutes from when I left, or if it was 3 hours, And so productivity matters. I love being at home. I love that I can live the life that I really want to live. So that brings me to a few tips that I pray just really bless you and help you to be able to work from home and make it work for you and really truly be productive. The first thing is I usually will ask people, what's your vision? When I do some consulting for churches, and the first thing that I ask is, what's your vision? Where is it you want to be? Who are you? What are you all about? Now, when I ask you this, I really am asking just to begin a conversation. Maybe you can make a note and say, you know what, maybe tonight or tomorrow or next week, take some time to really camp on this one. Because this one, it may sound like, how is that going to make me more productive? Isn't that going to slow me down and make me have to think? Well, here's the difference. If we don't slow down to really get a vision of who we are and what we are about, we're going to find ourselves squandering a lot of time. We're going to find ourselves off target. We're going to find ourselves feeling frustrated, not really knowing why. We're going to find ourselves busy, doing a lot of good things. I will even find myself busy doing a lot of what things, like, why am I cleaning the closet? Why did I just clean the toilet? Was it avoiding what I'm really supposed to be about? Because if I have a vision of that, I have a plan, which is going to be my second point, and you'll hear about that in a minute, so hold on tight. But if I have a vision, I have a plan, and then I make the time, I will get things done, and great things. And I feel like that this is so vital, because otherwise, if you don't have this point down, you won't know what to do for planning. You won't know what to do for your time. What is the most productive thing you could do? And so let me read a passage of scripture. I am kind of into the Passion Bible right now. And it says in Proverbs 29:18, which a lot of people have on their walls. And this is, and it's in different versions, but it says in the Passion, it says, where there's no clear prophetic vision, people quickly wander astray. But when you follow the revelation of the word, heaven bliss fills your soul. Now, let me just tell you what that means to me. First of all, that means, of course, without vision, you're going to wander astray. You're going to get preoccupied with other things. You're going to get busy with other stuff. You're going to actually, the passage also has, you will, in some past versions, it says that without a vision, the people perish. That word perish means, in Hebrew, to get this, dry up, die, burn away, burn up. And how many of us get so burnt out because we don't know where we're going? We don't know which way to go. We don't know what to do. We don't have an idea of who we are, why we're here, what we're supposed to do. And in turn, we do a lot of stuff. I know I do. And here's the other thing. Even knowing who I am, if I'm not keeping that vision right in front of me and moving toward that and really making plans to get there, I find myself doing anything but that, even if deep down I know it. So I feel like getting your vision is so important. It has to be clear. You have to know, first of all, who you are. Otherwise what happens is we look around at everybody else and we try to do what they're doing, and we miss our greatness. We miss who we are, what we are supposed to do. Also, if we look around and say they aren't doing anything, we get lackadaisical. We kind of get in this place of, well, I'm okay. And I'm getting by. well, that's just it. You may be getting by, but you're not making moves. You're not being a history maker, a world changer. You're not living out your greatness. So who are you? And I'm telling you, I'm doing a series right now on Facebook just so you guys can connect with me. I would love to be connected with you. And it's actually stretching myself. Kat knows. I was like, how do you do this? You know, how do I even do this? What do I do? I don't even like the video. I'd rather be like, I have a radio face and a radio personality. And so I'm saying this, but anyway, I've stretched. But one of the things I'm talking about in there, like today in my Facebook Live, is who you are. Who are you? Who are you? Because if we don't get that, again, we're going to cast off all restraint. We're going to go any which way. We're going to wander astray because it's easy to follow this person, or it's easy to just sit still, or it's easy to get distracted and do lots of things that really don't matter. So who are you? Why are you here? That's a biggie.
It
and
is.
People say, that's kind of deep, Cindy. Why are you saying, why am I here? That's going to take some camping. Exactly. Camp on it.
And
cool side.
And the answer can't just be because I want to make money, because money's not it. That's not your why. That's not where your vision is. It's what do you want your money to do for you? That's where the vision is.
Yes. And you know, where do you want to be eventually? You know, what is it if you could carve out, because you can, by the way, if you can carve out what it is that you're going to be all about, why? Why is it? I mean, I know people say the why and they go, oh, I don't want to get all tripped up on that because they've heard a lot of crazy teaching on it. But why are you here? There's reason that you've gone through the experiences you've gone through. There's a reason that you have the gifts that you've got. There's a reason that you have the personality that you have, and really grasping onto that and what that contributes to those around you in your sphere of influence will keep you focused, and you will have productivity. You won't be able to get away from it. But then another thing is what you have to offer. I've kind of mentioned that just then, but what do you have to offer? Because there's something about, I think our basic personality thinks, well, somebody else can do this better. Or, you know, maybe people would be, you know, more interested in this person or that person. And you know what? We just sell out like that quick. And what you have to offer can't be underestimated. It just can't, because somebody out there is looking for who you are and what you are, and you are their answer. You are also, I hate to say this, but I'm going to, yeah.
I'm going to have you say that, but I want to pop in here with something that Charlene, who's attending here today, said. She said, if it was only about money, you'd do whatever it took to get a high-paying job.
Very true. Very true.
Right.
Yes. And it can be about money too, but in the big scheme of things, money spends and it's gone. It's gone really quick. So if you're not about something even bigger than money, and by the way, I just believe firmly when I'm smack dab in the middle of what I'm supposed to be doing, I will make money. I'll make more money than when I'm trying to do some job. Yeah. And swap my hours for money. You make so much more. And I believe it's because it unleashes the blessings that are intended for you, that the Lord intends for you to have. But yeah, knowing what you have to offer is so vital, because whenever it gets down to the nitty gritty, that's going to be how you decide what's next. That's going to be how you make your plan. And then of course, what you're supposed to be all about. I've said this through the years that, you know what, once this stuff gets clear and you really know who you are, why you're here, what you have to offer, you're supposed to be all about, and you get a clear vision of that, then you're going to know what's really important. You're going to do the best and not just settle for good little things. And you're going to know what to let go of. So it's easier to say, okay, today I only have this much time. My one thing is not that. You know, and it helps you let go of things. There are a lot of great things that could have been super options that I've let go of through the years, but I've never been sorry for that. What I've really loved is that when I've stuck to the most important things, it's like all these other things, I've gotten it. you know, and it's come my way. So knowing these things really does let you let go of good things that are just options that I believe really are kind of the bad things in the big scheme of things. You know, they're the things that distract us. They're the things that frustrate us. They're the things that wear us out. They're the things that get us tired and resentful. And it also helps us to know when those things are gone, how to be a success, because it's clear, it's measured, it's something you can step into. It's something you can do easy. You can do it with the energy you have now, with the resources you have now, with the support you have now. It can be, you've got everything you need. So get a vision. The next thing is get a plan. Now, I have tons of resources. I'm going to bless you guys with, if you'll connect with me, I've given you my email address. I've got a couple things that I just feel like I get like this, that I really want to bless you guys with.
We need to tell her to take a breath.
I really, because I feel like that the how-tos, the plans, the how-tos, those things, they come. But, and again, once you got that vision, you can easily get a plan. But I want to take you through those things. Those are going to be my bonus things. So I'm not camping here long because these other things are important. But you're actually going to get a free access if you'll email to my huge coaching program that is coming up the end of mid-month next month. What we're going to do is count down.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you more about this in a minute.
We'll get it. So if you're watching live, make sure and put your email. You can put your email in a private chat message to me, so it's not out for everybody to see, and we will get you on the list. Make sure you get access to Cindy's email and all of that. If you're watching the replay later, we've already got your email, and you're already going to get the information. Cindy, I know you've got a ton of things in the resources that people can get to, and you've already given us some really good tips about productivity. Those are good productivity tips, even if you work outside the home. So let's bring this back into the home a little bit. Right. What is it easier for you to be more productive at home than at an outside job? Or did you personally find you had to police yourself a little bit more working from home?
That's a good question. And it comes down to, I think that both ways, that it takes getting the plan and knowing what you want to do and carving out time. You're going to have to be, and being disciplined about it. Like you're saying here, you know, one of my big secrets, besides getting a plan, and by the way, I just want to say, it's got to be written out. It's got to be hashed out. It's got to be put on your schedule. It's got to be very clear of, you know, brain dumping everything that could be done, and then making sure to put the things that really matter on the schedule, making sure that they're, on your to-dos and that you're moving it, you're doing it. Even if you can do something for 10 minutes, that 10 minutes over time makes a difference. But that brings me to the third ultimate productivity thing. And this makes a difference whether you're outside of the home or whether you are having to manage yourself inside the home. And it's having an hour a day. I've put 1 hour a day that is just strictly devoted to what needs to be done today. And you know, for us, each of us, it could be something different that will help us the most in working at home and making it work for us. But that 1 hour a day can help you write a book. It can help you either build or revamp your website. It can help you to partner with other people. It can help you to get and stay organized. It can help you to get and stay healthy. Whatever the thing is that is holding you back from being all in with your business, that one thing can help you, that 1 hour a day. In fact, I started out this month because I was in the challenge, just doing 1 hour. It was hard because I had not been doing this full time in so long, and there was so much that needed to be done. I've laughed. I think Kelly has told me 55 times this month as my coach, what if it were easy? I have. That is my lesson for the month is, What if it were easy? And then I keep thinking, okay, if I can just have a vision of who I am, what I'm supposed to be about, where I'm going, then I can have a plan for each day, which is basically my 1 hour a day, and making that happen. There is non-negotiable. That hour a day has to happen. And so making sure that that's going on and that that's carved out, and it's not, the things don't get crazy. See, here's the thing. This week, my daughter left for the military for boot camp. I was a hot mess about 2 days of the week. I had lots going on at work because my the job that I have from home that I do for another business. The guy who's our boss, he was leaving for 10 days. And so everything had to be scrunched into 4. And so it was a little crazy. And in the middle of that, I was trying to really reach some big goals for myself with my business. Because once things get rolling, once you do this hard work of getting the vision and getting your plan in place, then you have the momentum and you keep rolling, and you can do that hour here or that 10 minutes here and really focus in. But first of all, if you're at home full time and you don't have those things in place, I believe from the bottom of my heart, you'll squander a lot of time that could be extremely productive, because again, you just wander astray. And
you think I can do it after dinner, I can do it tomorrow morning, and it just, that timeline just keeps going out, and you've got nobody saying, you're not getting your paycheck today unless you get this done. So at an outside job, you have to be productive up to a point, but there's a lot of busy work that gets done that you can get away with at an outside job. I loved what you said about the importance of having your plan written down, because two things can happen. And you and I talked about this the other day in a group. Without it being written down, the plan can get so big and convoluted in our heads that we don't know how to make it easy.
Right, exactly.
We don't know what's that very next step I need to take.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly something that seems like, oh, this is going to take 12 hours. I haven't got 6 or 12 hours, so I'll put it off until I have time, rather than actually putting it down on paper and saying, oh, my next step will only take me 30 seconds. I'll do that step.
Right, exactly. And in fact, and if you were to see where I'm sitting right now, I have these. Okay, they are all full of brain dumps and plans. When it gets to the point that it is like this, I'm pretty much almost ready to roll. And I say this just to say that I don't just go, oh, groovy, today I think I'm going to write a book. A book in particular, or an intensive coaching program, or anything that to me are my greatest works. Those things all have come from really hashing it out, doing the hard stuff and making sure, am I doing, okay, even the topics, choosing a topic, my next topic. It has required that I know what is most important today. What is my next? What is the next that those who are listening to me and learning from me, what is the next thing they need? What is the next thing that if we skip this thing or this topic, however difficult it can be for me to say it sometimes, because I say some pretty hard stuff here and there, however difficult that can be, and not the most, cushy little topic. If I miss that, we all don't get everything we're going for. Sometimes I've talked about some really tough things like money, like knowing what you're worth. Okay, going back to knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, you will never know your value. You'll never know that it is worth you, the people spending money to have time with you, to learn from you, to have access to your ideas. If you don't know who you are and love who you are, you're not going to value it nearly as much. And I think you play smaller. Does that make sense, Kat?
I think you're spot on with that. Yeah. What are some of the things that you do differently at home? as
Oh,
opposed to working outside the home. And especially besides the travel, that that
yeah,
commute
my
to the
1 minute commute.
job. What are some of the other things that you
Mhm.
find really beneficial to you personally from working from home?
Wow, that is so good. Well, I think first of all, what you do matters. You know, I hate to say that it didn't matter. I think I took who I was and what I was when I was in the corporate world. I took it right into the job. And I think that was probably my secret to success, was just being me. And since I don't need my glasses, take that off. Taking me into the workplace made a huge, huge difference there. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think that the big thing that I do that I think really has helped me to have most productivity is, again, getting that plan, taking the time to really say, okay, let's unpack what ideas will really help other people. My calling is to help people, to encourage, empower, and equip people to step up to their calling. And so with that, I know that there are a lot of obstacles. I'm big on overcoming the obstacle first for me, and then I know how to help other people overcome the obstacle. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I think that that is one biggie at home, is not letting obstacles like personalities, crisis situations, the busy to-dos, again, not letting myself be distracted. And here's how I know I'm distracted is, again, when I start cleaning the toilet. And it's not that I think that that's not a great thing.
Oh, no, but you may be like me. My house is never cleaner than when I'm procrastinating a big, scary project for a work, something I want to do for my business.
Exactly.
The bigger, scarier, the cleaner my house gets.
Exactly. That's me. That is me. You can tell. A good example, I had a kidney stone a couple years ago, and I needed to go to the hospital. And I cleaned my toilet, cleaned my refrigerator, shaved my legs, made my bed, and then went to the hospital. And I thought, you know what? This is how I am. That clued me in. When I got there, I was like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And I thought, this is exactly what I do when I'm about to get to do something I love, even like getting to take some time to write a book or to record or to step into that podcast. It's my procrastination thing. Do you know what I mean? It's the thing that I do that sounds like, oh, but that toilet needed cleaning.
Yeah.
How long has it been since you cleaned that fridge?
There's always a reason behind that procrastination. Procrastination is the obstacle that we recognize, and we can know all of the traditional ways to get past that procrastination. Mm-hmm. But if it's a hidden barrier that has to be cleared first, that usually it takes help with an outside person or a lot of introspection to find that person. I've got a comment here that I want to read from somebody attending, and then I've got a follow-up question for you based on this comment. Okay. Steve says, I work in my PJs, just bottoms. I put on a shirt when I'm going on camera. Can't do that at a job. Well, you could, but you'd probably get arrested. That kind of depends on the job it is. I mean, I know a lot of firemen who pose for a lot of calendars that get to take theirs off. Mine is similar. It's like, if I'm on camera, I try to be decent, but it could be business on top, what not to wear below, So do you think it's important for a person working at home to dress the part of a business person at home? And dress being, it could be casual if that's how you feel about it. Pajamas are fine as long as you're getting your work done. But I know that for some of my clients, I've advised them, go make your bed and get dressed. If they're just,
I agree. I love that, Kat.
What do you share a little bit more about that?
I can see a direct correlation. If I am getting dressed, there's just a different preparation for the day. And also, even if they never see my face, if it's phone consultations, I think I come across with a different anointing and a different sound. Does that make sense? And
we step into it. It's a
Yeah.
character. It's an authentic character, but it's like being in a costume on stage. You step
Mhm.
into that presence. It's still you, right?
Yeah, and there's a difference when Cindy's got bedhead that looks like she should be on the set for Walking Dead versus when she actually runs a comb through it. There's a difference in how I feel about me and how that's projected. I think it does make a difference. Now I'm barefoot right now, just saying.
I've got slippers on.
Well, I'm barefoot, but my heels are right by me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so I remember years ago hearing, I was into the Fly Lady challenges. And one thing she said was put your shoes on, basically get dressed, put your shoes on, because otherwise there's excuses for not doing something. So one of my thoughts are, and I love that you asked this because it's a super, super, super question. I think getting up, getting dressed, I think you're going to be more likely to record that live in that 5 minutes you have. You're going to be more likely to do a lot of things that you wouldn't. I mean, you may even do a video conference with somebody where you might put it off to the next day if you're not dressed already. So I think that there's a lot of different things that it makes a big difference. So I love that you asked that. Yes. And I'm not saying you have to every day.
And I do know people who are productive in their pajamas all day. And I must admit that there are some days that I am so dressed in grubbies or just say, I don't feel like getting dressed today. Maybe I had 5 days of recordings and it felt like I was dressing up to go to the corporate office and it was just,
And they make you feel better to chill out in your PJs. There are times it does feel better because it feels like, whew, I can relax and I can get something done with this. That works. Yeah. But I think sometimes do yourself a favor. If it's your go-to way of doing things, do the other here and there.
Well, exactly. And I think being dressed for my personal work environment, and this is a little bit fancier than I would normally do. Not by much though, I feel like I can be more focused. Okay, I'm dressed for work. I'm going to go into my home office, which is just, a spare bedroom, get my work done. And when I come out of here, I do the same thing I did at a corporate job. I get out of the fancy stuff because I don't want to get it dirty. And I put a nice shirt on, but an everyday shirt, a t-shirt. And then, I may go help with dinner or do laundry or go out to garden. So I actually get my work done better if I dress for my home business.
Right. That's good. Well, and you know what? I want to mention something. You mentioned about your office. One of my obstacles for a while was the home office thing because things were chaotic, and just taking a day to get things organized, get things in their place again. And I have to do this regularly here and there, but organizing that made me want to be in the office, made me want to be more professional, made me want to have my stuff ready to roll with the next thing. I feel like I get a lot more done with that too. And that would have been another thing under planning, of taking that time to plan and get your ideas, get them out and put them into a plan. But also getting organized during that. And, I think then, it's a lot easier to stay focused when you're working. So even that.
Yeah. One more point on that while we're on the topic of dressing the part for your home business. People who struggle to set their prices or are afraid to raise their prices need to look at how they're bringing themselves to their own business. Because if you're walking around all sloppy and you feel like you're not presentable and you're not higher value to yourself, you're going to find it a harder time to set the prices that you could command, that you could deserve.
Right.
And I say could deserve because just because you want them higher doesn't mean you deserve them to be higher. You have to bring yourself and your expertise to that. Couple comments we have here. We have a couple more people joining us. We have, like me, like you, we are Fly Lady fans. I tweak it a bit for me. My favorite fly lady person is Diane in Denmark, who I watch religiously on YouTube, and dresses like I used to in the corporate environment, and couldn't figure out for the life of me why I wasn't comfortable being dressed up like she is all day long. And I think it was because I grew up in the environment of, you went to school, you went to church. When you came home, you put on play clothes. You know?
And so working at home.
Yeah, and I'm working at home. So that's kind of what I do. I don't like the outside. I still have outside clothes and inside clothes.
Well, you know what you were saying about how it makes you feel and what you bring to the table. I think because a lot of times I'll get, so if I have like a couple of days where things are not really face to face, but through meetings with people, or I'm not necessarily getting up, getting dressed to work. I just like stumble into the office to work. I feel like that those are days that I'm a little more sluggish, not just in my work, but also in my goals and keeping that before me. Now, when I keep my goals, my vision, what I'm called to do in front of me, I'm going to rock it. And I will get a lot more done, because here's at the end of the day, I remember learning this from my kids when they were homeschooling. My kids would say, well, if you just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But here is what the deal was. They would do it. Why? So that they could then do what they loved afterwards. And I think if we are not bringing it to the pardon me, to your desk each day, again, please don't misunderstand. There are days where it does me service just to go get comfortable, put my fuzzy slippers on, and kick my feet up. And it's amazing. Those are somewhat refreshing, nourishing days. But by and large, I don't get as much done on days that I'm not kind of getting up, getting dressed. I have excuses not to do some things on those days.
You led me right into my next question.
Yay.
What are some of the struggles that you found working from home that you have to be consciously avoid? Maybe something we haven't discussed yet.
That's really good. One I was thinking about too, that's a big obstacle for some of us. I'm big on the Enneagram because I've had to study that for the corporate world. And I started looking at some different things, and my Enneagram type, and many of the types of people that I've worked with, happens to be a helper. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But here's the problem with that. It's good. It's really good when you are serving people and you have a ministry, or you have that helping personality where you are intuitive to people's needs and you feel it. It's just who you are, kind of a thing. But here's the problem. Is also, I think working at home, people get this idea again that, you're at home. Well, you should be available for me to call you, or you should be available for me to text you. And I don't mind that to some levels, but I've had to say my phone is way across the room. Sometimes I'll charge it while I'm working rather than seeing it. You know what I mean? Just because it's a good reason not to have it right there where it can interrupt me. And because people seem to think that it's okay for me to help all the time, and you're at home, why not? And I think that setting those boundaries is sometimes very hard for me, but it's also essential if I'm going to actually be productive, and I have to be clear. One thing I've learned is saying I have a hard stop here. This is when I have a hard stop. I need to be gone by this point, and really sticking to it. And I call that almost integrity. It's an integrity issue of sticking to my word for the other person, but also for me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that that's one of my biggies that I struggle the most with being at home, because people didn't understand when I came home to work that I have to work or there's not a paycheck.
I had the same thing. And I now close my office door when I need to work. But you know what? Closing that office door was harder for me than I think it was on my husband.
Yeah.
He got it. I felt like, I'm not being friendly, I'm not being available. I'm all these things that made me feel bad. And I had to get over that. It's like, okay, we've got, he's comfortable with that. You know, we understand that when I close my office door, I'm going to work. And one of the things I found that worked for me is I tell him I'm doing that now. It's like, my daughter's going to be closed for a while because I have to concentrate on that. Suddenly, that made me feel like, okay, I'm letting him know I'm coming out sometime. And there was a specific reason. And it also provided some accountability for myself because I was going to do a particular thing. And when I came out, he's likely to ask me about that and whether I got it done. Now,
that's
having that accountability partner, I don't want to come out and say, oh no, I frittered my time away doing something else, you know. But again, it's a focus thing. You have to learn what helps you focus. So we've got a comment here. And she says, I need to work on that. Remembering that having nothing scheduled doesn't mean I'm free. I have trouble turning people down. That's a wonderful way to express that. In fact, I'm going to repeat that.
Yes,
I need
please.
to work on that. Remembering that having nothing scheduled doesn't mean I'm free. Cindy?
That's good.
Follow up on that one.
Well, I totally agree with that. And I think that, there are points where we want to be available. That's why we work with focus. That's why we know what we want to do and we get it done. I say, when I was asked, how do you feel about coming home to work? Well, I feel like that it's the best of everything. I can be productive. I can be really productive because, usually you don't have a lot of interruptions coming from the outside. But the one thing is, having time. I think the image of or that people get from working at home or having your own business, many times they think, well, you can be there for my every need. I coached with a girl this week, and she was sharing that one of the problems that she's having is because people think that they can come into her life at any day and at any moment of the day. Maybe they're bringing crisis situations in. She's finding that it's keeping her from getting her work done, and it's keeping her from actually even what she would like to do. I asked her what her ideal day looked like, and that's a biggie, what her ideal day would look like. And she said, I want to get up and maybe get going about 7 o'clock and be done by 3 with my work that I'm needing to get done. And then I want a couple hours, at least an hour, but a couple of hours to work on my dreams.
Right. We've got another
I think
comment.
that it goes back to that hour a day.
Yeah, excuse me. We've got another comment here, and it says, the problem is creating space to work when you share space with 8 people makes it difficult as well. And then, that can be.
And I agree with that. And you know what helps, though? Here's what I wrote most of my books while I was homeschooling the kids and managing all the busy with all of that. And you know what I learned that was kind of cool? I think it helped them, and this is something to really encourage you. It really helped them to have to be more responsible and self-directed themselves on things. I remember when Matt got accepted. He's a Green Beret. When he passed selection, he called me, and that day really was kind of like that day where you kind of hope that one day they appreciate you and they tell you something nice that you did. But he told me, he said, I just want to thank you for how you trained me up. He said, you taught me how to be self-directed. Now, how did that happen? It happened by me knowing what I was about, what I was supposed to do, and me doing it in front of them, but also encouraging them, hey, what do you want to learn? What do you want to write? What do you want to do? And them directing a lot of the path so that they were taking, because if they didn't, let me tell you, they did not like it when they didn't, because I would give them things I wanted them to do. They learned really quick. I'm going to know what I want, or mom's going to help me with this,
Yeah.
But it helps. It does them favors. It does them more favors. It trains them in the way that they should go to.
Right. So. And in the previous session we had with Natalie Laylock, she touched on this too, about helping them understand their responsibility for bringing things into their own life and managing their own time, and the opportunities that they then think of to earn money in the outside world or to operate in the outside world. I know in being back on the farm that, I was milking cows, driving tractors, raising a couple kids. We had 7 foster kids over a period of several years. And all of my books, except for the very last one, were all written during that time, and it was very busy. They say, if you want something done, ask a busy person, because we have to focus with the little bit of time we've got. Well, one thing that worked for me was setting a timer for my kids and saying, I need 20 minutes to work on this. When the timer comes off, you can come ask me a question or come give me a hug or, whatever you want. And they would literally sit outside the little open door to the porch where my office was and sit there watching that timer come down. And there was the rule, if there's an emergency, you can interrupt me. Oops, we lost Cindy temporarily there. But other than that, that timer was sacred. And then they understood the timer, and we could use that timer for other things for when they needed that space, whether it was a timeout or their own space to be not interrupted by their sibling. Yeah.
I like that, Kat. That's a great tip. That's really good.
All right. Well, we really appreciate everybody who's joined us today. There's some great comments here. We've got time if you want to put one more comment or a question for Cindy or myself here. Cindy, it's been absolutely wonderful having you join us today.
Yeah, I'm inspired by you. You guys.
I think we've got everybody's emails already, but just to remind you, if you're watching this live and you'd like to be reminded of when the replays are, to make sure that you get access to all of the free resources for all 5 of the speakers today, as well as what I'm throwing into the mix, make sure you put your email into the chat. You can send it as a private message to Kat Sturtz. That way it won't be out for everyone else to see. And along with that, you'll be put on the newsletter list, which you can either stay on or always unsubscribe from. You always get that choice. Some parting words for us, Cindy.
I really think that this is a time where what we do really, really, really matters. I know myself, I have had the battle for squeezing in the midst of daily demand, squeezing in what really matters to me. And I really think that if I could challenge you with just this one thing, it's taking that time to ask yourself, who am I? What am I? What do I really want? What does this look like? What does my perfect day look like? What is it that I want to accomplish? And being true to that for yourself, because there's something about letting ourselves down through getting busy and procrastination and all those little things that sneak their way in and steal our productivity. It disappoints us. And it begins to almost communicate a story that's so not true. So if you have been believing a story about yourself or your life or your capabilities that's not true, take some time just to sit and do yourself a favor of asking why you're here, who you are, what you're to be about, and how you can make that happen into your day. I was mentioning midways, or I said that I really felt like when I was thinking about the topic, it was like I knew I'm only going to have this few minutes with you guys, and for those of you who really want to dig in deeper, I am giving for all of the attendees and people who purchase this long term, and this can happen, by the way, at any time, because I do a coaching session about 4 times a year that we dig into this, and we dig in if you're especially wanting to make a product of some sort. We dig in and we dig in deep, getting the plan, getting to know who you are, what your message is, tweaking all the little things that need to be tweaked so you can get it out there and share it. So that's coming up, and my goal is for everybody to have a goodie for Black Friday or for Cyber Monday, and it actually ends the week before, and we can, our whole bunch of gals that will be doing coaching to get, or gals and guys, that everybody that's going to be participating in that, my encouragement is for all of us to help each other spread the word, and maybe with bonuses and things. So I'm excited because my community has a lot of people who are movers and shakers. And if you want that support and to dig deeper, come join us. It's totally free for you guys because you have earned
That's great. They'll have access
membership.
to that. All right.
Yeah, you got a forever membership, and it doesn't cost you anything but just your time.
All right.
And
great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for more of this today. I'm looking forward to ideas.
That's awesome. Before we close, I want to make sure we get in these last couple of comments that we had come in on my chat. I don't think they were put on the public board. But back when we were talking about carving out that time for ourselves, and also when we were procrastinating, I love this one comment that said she paid somebody to clean the refrigerator for her.
Good job.
And she also admits that she's paid an older child to guard her door when she needed an hour. I need more. Do what we need to do to get done what we need to get done. That's the bottom line. So working from home has its wonderful benefits. It's not all sunshine and roses.
No, sorry.
On the home side or on the business side, you have to be responsible even more than at a corporate job for yourself and what you get done and what you want to get done. So Cindy, thank you for being here today and sharing your secrets to productivity. Thank you everyone for being here. You can stick around for our next guest coming up. And Cindy, I don't know if you're sticking around or taking off, but thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I'll be in and out throughout the day, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to meet a goal of mine of doing my Facebook Live.
Well, we wish you well on that. Thank you so much.
I'm stretching, but I'll be back after that's done. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Cindy. All right, this is Kat Sturtz. I'm closing this session, but stay right where you are. Steve Henry's coming up. Bye.